Welcome back, legends. I hope you're all fantastic. It's time for another installment of Friday Q&A. Thank you so much for this week's questions. If you have questions you would like me to answer on next week's Q&A video, put them in the comments below. If you want to support the channel directly, there are links in the video description. If you want to join the Discord server, that is linked in the video description as well. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you, all of you legends who have subscribed to the channel. The channel just ticked over 60,000 subscribers, and that's a mind-blown moment. You're all so well behaved and so considerate. It really is a pleasure to have this YouTube channel and the community around it. So I said it before, I'll say it again. Thank you all so much. You all truly are legends, and I appreciate everybody who takes the time to watch a video, leave a like, or comment, or contribute on the Discord server. I'm lost for words with it, so I think I'll just answer this week's questions. It would have been Dimebag's 55th birthday this week. Do I have a favorite Pantera song, riff, or solo, or just generally a moment? I would say kind of my favorite moment is just all of the Vulgar videos. Like, you know, you just get this sense from Dime that he's somebody who lived life to the fullest, and he just kind of had this sense of joy about him. And I love that footage when he's just kind of busking with a tiny little amp and ripping so hard on what a lot of us would consider like a crappy little rig. It's, you know, just kind of speaks of that like spirit and his soul in there. So yeah, that anytime I see that, it just puts a massive smile on my face. And in terms of riffs, probably I'm Broken. This guitar's probably not in the right tuning for it, but just the way that intro riff thuds in, and then the kind of pre-chorus or chorus riff. Can I play it? I don't even know if I know this. There you go, the worst Dimebag cover you will hear today. But yeah, I still remember the day Dime was killed, coming home from school and just hearing on the news that an American guitar player in a heavy metal band had been murdered. And I don't know why, but even though it hadn't been confirmed, I was like, oh, I bet you that's Dime. And yeah, it's sad, like truly, truly sad. Like I said, somebody who, you know, everything you watch about them, you know, they had this kind of life force about them. And I guess we're lucky that his music continues to live on and continues to inspire people. And I mean, that's one of the amazing things about music in general. So happy birthday, Dime. All right, the next question, this one is kind of maybe less of a heavy topic. Do I still play my tube amps? And if so, how often? I do kind of make a point of at least once a week pulling out either, you know, my Soldano or my Mark IV or my rectifier or some of my rack gear, and just kind of plugging it in and powering it up and reminding myself that, you know, kind of using a tube amp is, I don't know, it's this slightly more unhinged experience than, I don't want to say sanitized, but, you know, I play through my Axe FX live and in the studio, and it feels and sounds so good, but there's so many kind of little surgical tools in there that let you optimize things. And really, for me, I love that stuff because it gets me close to the sound in my head. Tube amps just have this character that you kind of have to deal with. They're a little bit more standoffish, so I do, but it's probably only about once or twice a week. Or, you know, if I'm demoing a pedal and it's, I don't know, a treble booster or something like that, then that's got to go with a non-master volume amp, like a JTM 45 or something. So yeah, there is still that. And obviously, I always say it, nothing smells like a tube amp. It is the world's greatest kind of room incense, if you want to put it like that. The smell of tubes and, you know, kind of burning dust. Would that be a candle you could buy from somewhere? Maybe it'd be my signature fragrance. I've probably made that joke before, but yeah, good question there. Speaking of that, am I using the Axe FX or real amps for the new Ragdoll stuff? Basically, everything we've tracked has real amps on it, so you can expect to hear like a lot of these sounds. Alrighty, moving right along. This next one comes from Chaz. Chaz, it seems like you're stuck in a bit of a rut. You feel like you haven't progressed and you're just kind of playing the same licks and the same Megadeth and Metallica songs you've been playing for the last few years. A few things which might spice up your life. I find that what I'm listening to more than anything else actually informs how I play. So exposing yourself to new styles of music. It's so hard to get into music past like the age of 25 and to kind of broaden your horizons. But, you know, if you like those bands, I would say a really good gateway drug band would be King's X. Go and listen to Dogman. It's still heavy, but Ty Tabor is just doing stuff that is so out of the ordinary, and there's a blues element in there, there's a prog rock element in there, there's a funk element in there, and then go and explore all of those avenues. Go and listen to the bands that your favorite bands listen to would be another great piece of advice. And if all else fails, just go and learn like some 70s funk songs or something like that. Dial up a clean sound, use a single coil tone, and realize that that stuff is every bit as challenging as, you know, trying to play the fast picking parts in like Angel of Death or something like that. It will challenge your musicality in different ways. And rather than think about it as just purely like a technical thing, think of it as, you know, growing your musicianship and growing your musical taste. And basically you just have to be in that growth mindset with it. So yeah, listen to King's X is pretty much my advice to like every human being ever if they have a problem with music. So I would hate to think what would happen if someone's like, Leon, I've listened to too much King's X, what do I do next? Well, then you go and listen to some Rush. And then when you get sick of Rush, you just go and listen to King's X. This is all you need in life. Speaking of Rush, I was asked this question, will I be trying the new Rush Ale they're making? And while I love everything Rush, I actually don't drink. So as cool as that is, can somebody out there on the channel, you know, whenever they release that, get one of those Rush Ales and drink it for me? And then I can live vicariously through you while still remaining a teetotaler. Maybe that's another thing. But yeah, I actually don't drink. So as cool as that is, until Rush come out with like a Rush signature blend coffee, I will not be drinking any Rush. I will just be butchering their songs on guitar and listening to all of their albums, because what a great band. And, you know, following their Instagram account always puts a smile on my face, because it's so awesome to see that Alex and Geddy are still just like, you know, at the core, they're just still best mates. And that warms my heart, especially when you see relationships in other bands who are mega famous, where it's solely a professional relationship. So that's a beautiful thing, you know, when you like a band that much and they kind of seem like decent human beings as well, and I guess they practice what they preach. So that's pretty cool. Will I be checking out the new PolyFX Hector, their Eurorack module, or any other Eurorack stuff? You know, I got the Bebo, which is right here, which I'm kind of using as a virtual modular system. I love the color. I love the way this shows up on video as well. To stay away from that precipice of getting into Eurorack stuff, but I can feel it calling me more and more and more. So if anybody's interested in like a series of video, I guess that would work. I haven't had enough coffee today, clearly, about me getting into synths and Eurorack, because I do love synthesizers and Eurorack stuff. Leave a comment, let me know. I will make those videos, because there's so much cool stuff. I do need to make a new Bebo video going through the new firmware and the looper as well. So also let me know if there's anything you're interested in there. All right. There wasn't a whole lot of questions this week. I feel like I'm missing something. You can see me looking at my auto cue down here. Yeah, my auto cue. Check out my auto cue, everybody. Some post-it notes. And you know what's even funnier? They're stuck to an expression pedal. So behind the scenes, I'm doing that. It doesn't stay on there very well, but hey, EV1. This is a good solid pedal for sticking post-it notes to it and putting my big stinking feet on. Yeah. What else? I feel like I was asked a few other questions that weren't on the channel that kind of relate to some things. Oh yeah. this is a big one. I should probably do an entire video about this. What are some of my favorite pieces of gear that I've ever reviewed here on the channel? And there's a few that come to mind and a few that I use all the time. Obviously, the Axe Effects would be a massive one. That's kind of become the heart of my studio. The rack gear, which I have either bought or that has been donated to the channel. There's so many amazing pieces there. Probably the Eventide H3500. That's probably my favorite piece of old rack gear. Just a glorious, glorious unit. Axe Effects 3 and FM3, obviously I use basically to make a crust because I do all my music stuff through them, and the FM3 I use live, and actually used it a bunch the last week because we had our first fly gig in like 18 months, which was awesome. We got to go up to the Pilbara and got a tour of a pretty cool island. There'll be a video of that up either tomorrow or at the start of next week whenever I edit all the footage. Some other cool stuff, obviously Bebo, amazing little thing. Some things that really surprised me though would be, I've been really lucky to be sent some pedals from some manufacturers who are either like some of the biggest manufacturers in the world. Like I've been able to work with companies like Boss, which still blows my mind. And shout out to my buddy Ed at Boss, who has hooked me up with heaps of pieces of gear to loan and feature on the channel. And the Synergy stuff as well is amazing, and it like sits in that kind of space between old school rack gear and new versatile stuff. There's just so many cool things. The Rubato Lassie would be another one. That was another opportunity that kind of came up through YouTube, and shout out to the Rubato boys because they make an amazing, amazing, unique thing that I never would have been able to check out. Same thing to Schrader guitars and Equilibrium guitars as well. Look out for some more stuff on that. And yeah, even just like kind of weird little accessories that I never would have thought of that kind of make things more interesting, like the Airstep MIDI controller is a really, really great utility thing. Stuff like the EV1. Again, it's an expression pedal. It's such an amazing thing to have in your life. And loads of cool plugins. I just feel spoiled. Like basically if I get sent gear that's not great or that I don't love, I send it back and it doesn't get featured on the channel. But there is this strange thing now where gear is, especially compared to when I was like 15 or 16, so 15 or 16 years ago now, it's just generally great. Like whether you're checking out an $80 preamp pedal from a Chinese company, or you're checking out like a Strymon pedal or a Fractal or an Eventide or a PRS or something like that, it's more a case of like, is something good or bad objectively? Like, is it well made? That's pretty easy to see. Most stuff is pretty well made now. Most stuff kind of does what it says on the tin. It's all about just kind of value propositions there. So yeah, that's kind of what I really try to focus on, especially with videos. And like, will this thing work for you? What can it do? Does it do what it says on the tin? What does it do that's not on the tin that you might be able to use it for? For example, like I always use the example of delays with modulation. It's probably a chorus pedal as well, or I don't know, would be another thing like, your tone and your volume pots on your guitars, they're kind of important as well. So yeah, there's been so much stuff. The more I think about this, the more I should just do a most impressive gear I've reviewed over the history of the channel. Let me know if you want to hear that. I was going to do a list of 60 things for 60,000 subscribers, but it's just going to boil down to go and listen to some Rush and some King's X and a bunch of other albums that I really, really like that I've probably talked about before. All the Zelda games are really good. Eat healthy, take care of yourself, be kind to yourself, look after your mental health and your physical well-being as well. Don't be a dick in general. And I'm going to finish up the video right here. I might play you all out with some absolutely filthy guitar. Listen to that. There was obviously a big reverb on there with something in the tail. Yeah, this video was a whole bunch of fun. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. Let me know if you got any specific questions or comments in the comment section. Come and say hi on Discord or write a comment or something like that. And, until the next time I see you, enjoy your time on Earth.